Sit down and relax and enjoy your afternoon. Most of all, we'd like to say thank you to everyone that took the time to come today and help prepare the room, help show Mr. Abercrombie around our island. And we thank you very much for coming yourself and taking your time to come and visit with us today. Can we please have a round of applause for Mr. Abercrombie? Okay. All right. As you know, today is Prince Kohio Day. And today we are honoring Prince Jonah Kihio, who represented the territory of Hawaii as a delegate to the United States Congress. The first Native Hawaiian and only person ever elected to that body that was a royal. Now, 100 years later, Neil Abercrombie represented Hawaii's 1st District, Honolulu, in the United States Congress, one of the many elected offices he has held in Hawaii over the years. He has also led with integrity and honesty and has honored the needs of Hawaii people above all. As governor, Neil has again put the people first and has helped keep many important projects for West Hawaii a high priority. The Abercrombie legacy for Kona includes the Palamanui College campus and, with luck, a courthouse. Neil pays attention to our needs and will continue to for another 4 years. Yeah. And we do with great pleasure to Mr. Governor Neil Abercrombie.
Thank you, Ernie. Thank you, Byron. Aloha, everybody. Very kind. Very kind. Well, mahalo nui. Momi, thank you very much. Look at this beautiful lei from this beautiful lady. Momi, please. Yeah. It says a lot about not just Hawaii, but about the Kona side of the Big Island. And this aloha for me, so many friends here, some new, some folks I've just met for the first time, and other friends here of long standing, way before the campaign started in 2009. It's oh heck, you know, people say things, oh, it's a humbling experience. The word gets used so much that I think it's devoid of meaning. And I really don't feel humble about it, but in that sense, in the sense of diminished in some way. But humble in the sense of better than I deserve. There's an element of faith and trust, particularly in the face of some of the negative commentary that's there. That your presence here today, it doesn't so much humble me, but it honors the commitment that I'm making, and as a result, I want you to know that my commitment, in turn, will honor that faith and trust that is expressed by you being here today. I honestly did not expect to see this many people here. I didn't. It's an effort of will to be here in the middle of the afternoon. Even yeah, I understand it's the Prince's birthday, and there's a holiday, not for everybody, that's for sure. People have bills to pay, obligations to meet, families to support, as all do all of you. But the fact that you then would take what might otherwise be leisure time or a capacity to engage elsewhere to meet your obligations to come here tells me a heck of a lot. Believe me, I'm not made of stone. And when you get some of the adverse conditions and circumstances, commentary and so on that comes, yeah, you can say, well, you know, it's not really me and I know where I'm going, but the fact that there are real people with real feelings, real ideas, real commitments, who see this campaign as a vehicle, if you will, for the expression of their commitment to the political process in this state and this country, is something that's invigorating. It is something that is challenging, and is something that gives me great energy to want to put this campaign together in such a way that we give an opportunity for the people of this state to make a decision about whether we're really going to move Hawaii forward. I just finished a conversation, I'm happy to say, less a speech than a conversation with the folks at the Kona Chamber of Commerce. They've been very kind and good to me over a number of years, and not only invite me to speak at least annually for what they call their governor's luncheon, but to be able to meet with them individually and semi-collectively in a lot of other different venues in the days and weeks in between election. Many of you know I'm here not just during election year, contrary to some other candidates that you might be seeing, who are just discovering that oh really, there's a Kona, I heard about that. Right. Just a little bit. But that tells us something, doesn't it? I said to some of you more than almost 4 years ago that we were not going to have an Oahu-centric administration. And I know we don't, because I hear regularly from virtually everybody in this room about my shortcomings with regard to Kona and the coast, and what things I still have to get squared away in order to make it all come out right. But a lot of it has to do with the subject of my discussion, at least in great measure today, with the Chamber of Commerce. Because things are moving in the right direction right now, including the Council of Revenue estimates, which I recited to the Chamber today, which is on a whole very, very positive. You wouldn't know it from reading the papers or listening to certain politicians, but extraordinarily positive. It's hard for some people to remember that just 3 years ago at this time, we had furlough Fridays. Our kids weren't in school. I know there were people's paychecks being cut, but people were being laid off. And I'm not just talking about public workers. Some public workers, yeah, had to take a 5%. In order for us to balance our budget, they had to take a 5% restriction on their wages, their salaries, and benefits restrictions. But those of you in the private sector here in Kona and throughout the island understood that other people were being fired outright, lost their jobs. Businesses were up against the wall. Just meeting monthly expenses was tantamount to just being able to keep your head above water. Private sector was being pounded. Now that's been reversed. And so has our fiscal situation in the state been reversed. People can argue if they want about the level of that comeback. But you can't argue with the evaluations of the credit rating agencies, the national credit rating agencies like Fitch and Moody's and Standard & Poor's. You can't finesse them. You can't razzle-dazzle them. And they don't put up much with rhetoric. They go for the hard dollars and cents evaluations. Because the people who are willing to invest in Hawaii, when we go out for our bond sales and so on, are not interested in hyperbole. They're not interested in rhetorical excess. They want to know the hard and cold fiscal facts of life. And the plain fact is we've got the lowest interest rates in the entire history of Hawaii as a state. Our bond sales are oversubscribed so that we're able to get genuine savings, so that we've been able to invest money back in to those savings back into the borrowing that we had to do in order to pay our bills when I came in. Some people seem to have forgotten that we had to strip the hurricane fund. We had to strip the rainy day fund just to pay our bills. To pay our bills. I'm not talking about extras. And so you take the Council of Revenue's estimates, and I just happen to have, I brought it with me. Council of Revenues. So I wanted to read it to you so that it's not just me talking. Got it right here. Council of Revenues is what I have to use as the fiscal barometer for making my decisions by law. It's a group of individuals, bankers, economic analysts, academics, and so on, who make projections. That's what it is. They guess, in other words. Educated guesses about what the economy might be or not be. Other people can pay attention or not pay attention as they like. The law says I have to live by this. So you may have heard, well, there's declining revenues. The revenues for the state will be a little less this year than they were last year when they're at peak levels. In other words, we started at the bottom, first year up, second year up, third year up, fourth year we're coming into still up, but steady.
Right.
That was, so how come it didn't go up again? Well, the council thought, I'm reading to you from the council's work. Now, I guarantee you, how many here actually read the Council of Revenue's letter? Don't feel bad. I suspect there's maybe, I don't think the Council of Revenue's members read the Council of Revenue's letter, okay? But this is what's quoted, okay? Council of Revenues thought the shortfall in tax revenues was due to a number of factors. Well, one of the factors is replenishing the Hawaii Hurricane Relief Fund reduced general tax revenues about 1% for 2014. We'll do so again in 2015. I'm paying off our debts. That's why the credit rating agencies have moved us from negative to stable to positive in 3 years. By the way, I'm one of the few governors in the country that actually goes in person to make presentations to the credit rating agencies, so they can question me in person. Very few governors go, very few governors go, and what governors go, I'm told by them, have scripts that they follow. I go with my budget and finance director and myself, and I make the presentation so that they can question me directly. So this is something that you have to understand. You don't have to understand, but I'm saying to you because you've come here today, and I want you to know when you hear some of these commentaries, I want you to have the ammunition. At this time, 3 years ago, heading into April, my budget and finance director that I go to these credit rating agencies with came into my conference room and said, "Governor, I don't think we can pay the bills at the end of the month. We may not be able to pay our bills at the end of the month. We have to take the hurricane fund and the rainy day fund and put it into the general fund so that we can be sure when we write our checks that they don't bounce." Think about it. You may be owed money from the state of Hawaii for whatever, a service, a tax return, a contract. The state writes you a check and it bounces. What do you think? That's what we had to do. Now, I'm paying that money back. So naturally, well, you see, Ernie felt so bad for me. Ernie felt so bad for me, he's trying to get me money right now.